right, y'all. Welcome to another show of Politics or Politricks You Decide with Tulu Gabon and Brother Justin Barnett. Again, Brother Justin Barnett is on the weather, but he told me to tell everybody he said hi and he missed y'all. If you hear the sound of my voice, that means God has blessed you to see another day. Prayers go up, blessings come down. Let's say amen. Want to give a shout out to Brother R.J. Watkins and Brother Henry Tyler, both 2015 R&B Hall of Famers. Want to say thank them for putting this beautiful operation together where we can express our opinions and our thoughts without worrying about being cancel culture. Want to give shouts out to Miss Maxine and Miss Michelle as well, and everybody else that's affiliated with WHPR 88.1 FM and 107.5 FM WGPR HD3. And preferably everybody having a great day today. First of all, I want to give condolences to Brother Sly. He lost his father. So I want to send my condolences to him and prayer for his family. And I'm asking everybody else to hold his family up in prayer, that they be strong and just, his dad wouldn't join the ancestors. So we keep him in prayer and hold him up in prayer. Amen. First of all, I want to start out by saying I've always stated that we cannot and should not fall short on asking people to assist us with our plight in America, meaning what they call FBAs, Foundational Black Americans, which are individuals whose ancestor was human trafficked from Africa and put on America's soil to be a slave. With that said, it's always amazing to me, not shocking, but amazing, when we have individuals who come over here, and I'm saying it with respect, pimp the foundational Black America's culture, become successful, and at the first sign of smelling the whim of racism, they betray us. And I'm particularly talking about the incident with Nicki Minaj. And now I really don't get off into this celebrity stuff, and anybody that watch my show know that. But we have to have a watchful eye, meaning black people in America, foundational Black America, use that for short term, that we can't just invite everybody to the cookout. And if you come to the cookout, meaning you get involved in our culture and what we got going on over here, you got to show some type of cultural loyalty. Like put a sign in your front yard saying you support reparations, contribute back to the African American community, not go on the Grammys and be a country singer, black country singer. That's what they call, what they so call an immigrant. And I have to address this and state that immigrants built America. This is literally true. And shout out immigrant children. No problem with that. But to say to foundational Black America, black people whose ancestors were human trafficked over here, worked from sun up, can't see, to sun up, down, can't see. All of them that was lynched, raped, robbed, and murdered, didn't have a right to, for anything, not even their human dignity, for a man to protect his wife when the slave owner came in and raped his wife in front of him, or he took the woman with him. To say that immigrants built America, as if black people who was human trafficked over here did not exist, shame on you. And you're telling a lie. You're telling a lie. 1964, let's look at the 60s for black people. Prior to the 60s, African Americans who was over here, that was in bondage over here, who was human trafficked over here, didn't nobody come over here to rescue us. We did it all on our own, family. Everybody come over and say, well, you know what, man, we're gonna help y'all. We gonna help y'all get out this situation. We're gonna fight through the laws. Nobody did that. It's like dropping a family off in the jungle and say, figure it out. We figured it out. So for anybody that's not a descendant of black people who was human trafficked over here to be slaves, and for you to make that bodacious statement that immigrants built America, and I mean that literally, are you something wrong with you? Black people built America, and if it wouldn't been for us fighting through our blood, sweat, and tears, and white people who fought along with black people, whose foundation black Americans, you wouldn't even be over here. You think that if we wouldn't have went through all that, with the political laws, for the laws passed, that you would be sitting over here saying stuff like that on stage or betraying us with Donald Trump? Absolutely not. You would have showed up over here and you would have been put right on the plantation, hands down. And I have to correct this record because I do not want the legacy of those ancestors of mine, my people who suffered on this soil, to be ignored. And some country, some black guy who's so-called an immigrant happened to get his way through country music through a grammar, say that, well, you know, I dig it, family. A lot of black families did that. But at least your mama didn't get raped during slavery. You come from that type of genealogy. Your grandfather wasn't lynched. Their private parts cut off. You don't have the last name of a slave on it, and if you do, that means they was enslaved too. So please, my brothers and sisters that is coming over to America, that's black, stop trying to pimp the black culture or ignore our existence. Vainglorious. And I mean that. Stop acting like we didn't do nothing. Y'all didn't do, we made it. If you feel that way, why couldn't you do it in your country? The same thing you doing over here. Go over there and try to sing country music. After black people lay the foundation over, see how that worked for you. Nicki Minaj, go to Trinidad and try to be a rapper and see how that worked out for you. Stop disrespecting black Americans, man, for real, for real. 1964, the Civil Rights Act get passed. 1965, they passed the immigration law. So you can come over here and do what you're doing. But you wouldn't be doing that had it not been for black people and those white people who fought along with black people for us to get the rights that we got. So I had to address that in the beginning of this segment because I'm tired of it. Stop ignoring us like we don't matter. Period. And when you get successful, you want to kind of rain on our parade. No, you're not. No, you didn't build America literally. You did not. Was your ancestors over here building the so-called White House? No, they wasn't. Was your ancestors building fields and no, they wasn't. Did they help build up the cotton? No, they didn't. So stop saying that. Period. I get it. You want to be, you want to shine. You want to do the monkey. Go ahead. You could do that, but don't put us down in the process. Now, what you should have said was black people who was enslaved over here. I want to thank them for laying the foundation for me. Before you, there was Charlie Pride in country music. Let's go there. You ain't did nothing new. You following somebody else's footsteps. I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity to be on this soil as an immigrant, to make it. And I want to thank them for building us up so we can be over here. Don't come over here and try to stand on the shoulders of King Kong when you just a baby gorilla. Now, I had to say this. This had to be said. Because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of people disrespecting foundation black Americans. When we done built this country, y'all come over and lay up in the jacuzzi like you deserve that. Stop disrespecting us. That's why I said when we get people coming, We got to be careful how we moving. You got to go ahead and put, you got to do that. You got to put that reparation sign in the yard. Go ahead. We got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, Tula. This is Amanda. So I just really want to make a quick statement on what you're saying, that, that immigrants, when they come over here, should acknowledge that African Americans built this country and all of that. You know what? I really wish that they would. But let's, face the fact that probably 98% of the immigrants who come over here are not even respectful of African Americans, and this may be a poor statement to make, or are they respectful of any people in America, in my opinion? And I don't think that they're going to take the time or to even acknowledge any part of our country's history, or even the fact that African Americans built this country. It's a sad fact, but that's just a statement that I'm going to make. I don't really think they're even going to take the time or the care to look at how our country was built, or however. They're just going to, I feel like and that's all I'm going to say about that. But okay. Great show, Tula, as always. I can't wait to watch the rest. Bye-bye.
Right. Thank you so much. Okay, and please do not think that we're immigrant bash. That ain't what we're doing here. I don't believe in that. Hey, I don't. But again, when somebody go on a big stage like the Grammy, or big stage promoting the Republican Party on a political platform, making false statements, I'm directing that directly to them, and that's it. Nobody else. So ain't nobody. I know nope, none of that. I ain't got no problem with immigrants. I never have, never will. I always said, this is Native American country. You can't steal a country and tell who can come over here. That's how I view it. But no, I had to say that. So I just feel like a lot of people that's coming over here aren't really respecting the contributions that African Americans have made in sacrificing, even from a political aspect. Because again, if we wouldn't have got the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, would you be over here would you be over here 2026? And would the Immigration Act have been passed in 1965? So that's something to think about, and I had to lay that out. Another thing I want to talk about is the voting. We have to really realize what's going on with voting. We got to galvanize the marginalized, the poor, and the very poor to vote. And I'm saying that because this week, or last week or this week, Donald Trump had them go and take all the voting information out of Fulton County, Georgia. Just came in, and because he really think in his mind he won, right? He think that he won. He won that. You didn't. You lost. He named Detroit as corrupt. This is what he named: Georgia, Detroit, and Philadelphia. And what I'm saying to my brothers and sisters that's in the political realm, we cannot continue to ignore the marginalized, the poor, and very poor, which is the lowest voting bloc in the United States, particularly in Detroit. We have to figure out a strategy outside of Donald Trump is going to punish you, because poor people get punished all the time. They going to, so I mean, when you say that to them, they're like, oh, okay, well, we have to create an incentive that's effective to get them to vote. Because if they do not vote, we are in trouble. And we have to recognize that we all are in the same water, like we did in the South. Like Fannie Lou Hamer told, she was at a meeting, a round table with black leadership with Tony Brown. And she said it didn't care if you was the principal or the janitor. They treated you the same way, right? Because that's what racism does. Some people think because, their status, that somehow racism is either going to overlook them or treat them a little softer. It doesn't do that. And from what we see going on now, it ain't doing that. So I'm saying that we need to plan out a strategy to get the low propensity voters to vote. What they call the young YNs. Y'all know what they are. Y'all know what that means. But I don't have no problem talking. When I talk to the brothers, they listen. I mean, I don't sell them no false hope. I just give them some type of motivation. I had a little brother come up to me Saturday. They won't give me a job. I'm a young YN. I said, no, you ain't that. I said, don't name yourself that. I said, you don't take upon the sins of somebody else that's black. I said, do white people take upon the sins of their ancestors, their slave owners? No. I said, well, don't let nobody brainwash you to believe because your black skin, somebody else do something that's black, that's your punishment as well. You the consequence of that. Or that's who you are. It has nothing to do with you. That's the individual who did what they did. And when people try to hold me, I go right at them. Well, what about the Catholic priests? Crickets. What about your Peter was slaughtered doing that? What about the crickets? Don't do that. You can't hold somebody responsible for what somebody else did. All right, y'all. Let's get to the first video. Y'all know it's going to be fire. Political. This is fire. This is what not to do.
That gold card was just a symbolic token of appreciation. She did all that tokenization for nada. Karma.
My favorite thing about the Nicki Minaj news cycle is that she got played. The Trump administration played directly in her face. She posted a picture of the Trump gold card and said, "Welp." Then she posted about how her citizenship paper is on the way and she's about to become a citizen. Well, if you guys aren't familiar with the Trump Gold Card program, it is for high net worth individuals that if they invest $1 million or more into the American economy, they get this Trump Gold Card and they will be on fast track to be a permanent resident, then a citizen. Well, the White House came out and said, actually, let's pump the brakes. The gold card that Nicki Minaj got is not actually a Trump gold card. It's just a memento. It's a fake. So it doesn't mean anything. So she doesn't get the fast track towards citizenship. This is coming from the girl who tweeted in 2018 that she came over from Trinidad and she was alone from her mother and she doesn't want to see kids separated from her mom. And she turned that page very quickly when it was time for her to cozy up to the fascist leader who's doing the same exact thing that she said she was against. So while you want to coon up and coon down and make videos with Katie Miller, act like you are the conservative queen, they played in your face.
Well, I got my Trump card, this gold card of citizenship, and because of my great president allegedly, and da-da-da-da-da, just for the White House to come out and say, oh no, that wasn't citizenship, baby, that was a souvenir for your contribution. They said, thank you for your contribution, girl. That'll be all from you. That'll be all. And you know, what I want people to understand is that when it comes to politics, okay, politicians will use you and abuse you for what they need. And once they accomplish what they need, who are you? Who are you? You're speaking out so adamantly about this man, and he don't care about you, girl. You see how fast they cleared that up? You see how fast they cleared that up when you was talking about some... Well, exactly. They said, oh, let me just clear this up real quick. We don't want anybody thinking, we actually gave a woman who looks like she's of African-American descent anything. Allegedly.
Minaj, come here. Sit down. Let me hold your hand with a Clorox wipe between us while I tell you this. You really got on Beyonce's internet, held up a little shiny rectangle like it was the infinity stone of immigration, and said gold card secured. And then the White House said it's a memento.
So you mean to tell me that Nicki Minaj got on here telling people, well, I got my Trump card, this gold card of citizenship, and because of my great president allegedly.
So you was shucking and jiving for free? For free? You did all of this for a symbolic token of their appreciation.
Child, apparently she don't even have to wait till that man is no longer the president because they said that they do not know her. A White House official has came out and said that the card that Pink Wig was flexing, making it seem like she got her citizenship for free, okay? They said that was a memento. Yeah, they gave Pink Wig a Pokemon card and said, make it enough.
Y'all, when you spend months cozying up to a political movement that built its entire platform on deportation and xenophobia, make videos with their spokespeople, defend their policies on social media, and then get handed a fake gold card that you thought was your ticket to citizenship, only for the White House to say it was just a souvenir that's not getting played. That's getting exactly what you signed up for. And Nicki Minaj is learning the hardest lesson of her career. When you align yourself with white supremacy, you will always be disposable. What's good, family? Welcome back to Chronicles of Blacks, where we document what happens when people sell out for access and then act shocked when they get used and discarded. I'm your host, and if this is your first time here, understand that we don't celebrate anyone's downfall, but we do document the consequences of bad decisions. We're talking receipts, we're talking patterns, and we're talking about why aligning yourself with movements that hate people who look like you will always end in betrayal. Before we get into how Nicki Minaj got played by the administration she was promoting, posted a fake citizenship card thinking she was special, and then watched the White House publicly embarrass her by clarifying it was just a token of appreciation, make sure you hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that accountability matters and that we're paying attention to who sells out and what happens when they do. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now, because we're building a community of people who understand that proximity to power is not the same as protection. Let me lay out the timeline so we're all clear on how we got here. In late 2024, Nicki Minaj, a Trinidadian-born rapper who came to the United States as a child, began publicly aligning herself with conservative political figures and MAGA-aligned personalities. She appeared in videos with Katie Miller, a former spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security under the previous administration, and made statements supporting immigration enforcement policies. This was shocking to many of her fans because in 2018, Nicki had tweeted about her own experience coming to America from Trinidad, saying she was separated from her mother and didn't want to see children separated from their parents. But by 2025, she had completely flipped her position. In early 2025, a petition calling for Nicki Minaj to be deported to Trinidad went viral, gathering over 70,000 signatures. The petition pointed out that Nicki is not a United States citizen and entered the country without documentation. Shortly after, Nicki posted a photo on social media holding what she called a Trump Gold Card, claiming it was her fast track to citizenship. The Trump Gold Card program is a real initiative designed for high net worth individuals who invest $1 million or more into the American economy, offering them expedited permanent residency and citizenship. Nicki implied that she had been given this card as recognition for her support. But then the White House released a statement clarifying that the card Nicki received was not an actual Trump Gold Card. It was a symbolic token of appreciation, a souvenir with no legal value. Nicki was publicly humiliated. Her fans turned on her, and she lost millions of streams as people blocked her on Spotify and other platforms.
Called a sellout after saying she's Donald Trump's #1 fan and getting this. So Nicki attended the Trump Account Summit where she was getting real close with Trump. And what makes this even crazier, just a few weeks ago, a petition to deport Nicki Minaj was going viral with over 70,000.
The White House said the gold card that Nicki Minaj received, it's fake.
Child, apparently she don't even have to wait till that man is no longer the president because they said that they do not know her. A White House official has came out and said that the card that Pink Wig was flexing, making it seem like she got her citizenship for free, okay? They said that that was a memento. Yeah, they gave Pink Wig a Pokemon card and said, make it enough. This is so crazy. Did all that shucking and jiving, lying on the internet talking about she got her citizenship, she's signing the papers right now, so why would somebody come out and say that? Then a Homeland Security agent doubled down and said that being that she's been a resident for the last 20 years, she was eligible for citizenship anyway, so she really didn't have to do all this. So that means, in my opinion, she's endorsing this man and supporting him because that's what she wants to do. Them people don't come out and say, you didn't even have to do all this. You was already, you could already get the citizenship. But leave it up to y'all. She's playing chess for a bigger agenda. Is the agenda in the room with us now? Because it's given that she's just showing her true colors and y'all refuse to believe that. Like, them people don't disown you, girl. Now what? Like, is she going to continue to openly support these people knowing she didn't really need them? Or is she going to keep buttering them up so that way they don't turn on her and deport her ass anyway? I'll keep y'all updated.
So you mean to tell me that Nicki Minaj got on here telling people, well, I got my Trump card, this gold card of citizenship, and because of my great president allegedly, and da-da-da-da-da, just for the White House to come out and say, oh no, that wasn't citizenship, baby, that was a souvenir for your contribution. They said, thank you for your contribution, girl. That'll be all from you. That'll be all. And you know, what I want people to understand is that when it comes to politics, okay, politicians will use you and abuse you for what they need. And once they accomplish what they need, who are you? Who are you? You're speaking out so adamantly about this man, and he don't care about you, girl. You see how fast they cleared that up? You see how fast they cleared that up when you was talking about some, well, exactly. They said, oh, let me just clear this up real quick. We don't want anybody thinking, we actually gave a woman who looks like she's of African American descent anything. Allegedly, for educational purposes. Anyway, goodbye.
House coming out and making a statement saying that the gold card that Nicki Minaj received was a memento and not a visa in any way, no citizenship status in any way. So you was shucking and jiving for free? For free? You did all of this for a symbolic token of their appreciation. Symbolism. A symbol that they appreciate you that doesn't give you a visa or permanent residency in this country. You got up there on that television at that summit asking them people, should I go now? And saying, I don't really know what to say. For free? For free? Now this is some next level. I don't even know what to say at this point. I don't even know, what is there to say? For free?
Oh, Nicki Minaj, come here, sit down. Let me hold your hand with a Clorox wipe between us while I tell you this. You really got on Beyonce's internet, held up a little shiny rectangle like it was the infinity stone of immigration, and said gold card secured. And then the White House said it's a memento. A memento. Not a visa, not citizenship, not some elite VIP MAGA laminate. A souvenir. Like something you grab from the gift shop on your way out. The confidence is what sends me. The press tour energy, the smugness. You were talking like you unlocked a secret level of America. Like you hit a cheat code and bypassed USCIS. Clown, immigration law is not a backstage pass. It's paperwork. It's statutes. It's federal process. It's boring and bureaucratic. And the gag? What exactly were you flexing? A commemorative participation trophy? It's giving pedestrian mentality. And the bouncer is like, ma'am, that's a wristband for the gift shop. Like I said in a previous video, a shiny prop doesn't override federal law. A photo op isn't citizenship. A gold card is not Willy Wonka. Next time, maybe Google before you gloat. Because getting fact-checked by the White House? After you already popped your collar? That's not queen behavior. That's peasant behavior. And that's the read. This is the Notorious JTB, notoriously opinionated, signing out.
Everything that I would have said, they said it. So let there be a lesson to those who are not what we call foundation African Americans who ancestors was human trafficked over here and dropped in the sea of slavery in America. We know the game. So when you decide to especially to join the Republican Party under the perception that they was going to do you a favor, are you for real? Went to the UN and spoke against Nigeria, you did that. So now you got egg on your face before the whole world. So I'm just saying, please, when you come over here, know the political arena you're getting into. Don't just automatically begin to sell black people out that's been over here who supported you throughout your whole career, supported you through your whole career, looking at you as one of us, meaning the struggle of what we've been through. And I say that to the brother that sang country music, and I say that to Nicki Minaj, but I will be praying for you in hopes that now you have learned a lesson about racism, how it really operates. The young lady said it perfectly, or just said it perfectly. Politicians will use you until they cannot use you no more, particularly if you're black. Period. All right, y'all, let's go to the next video. Next video is fire as well. Let's get to it and give me your opinion. I appreciate you.
You could have written a book and said, I think that we did a great job ending slavery, which we did. But I don't know if this is just because it helps you become a bestseller, but you add this line, the tyranny of imaginary guilt. You're a Christian theologian, and you're saying we shouldn't feel guilty at all about 3 million Africans being taken out of their homes and moved to across the Atlantic? The guilt is imaginary? Why can't we have guilt and also believe everything you just said?
First of all, we can only feel guilt for something we did.
We did. We did take 3 million people out of Africa.
You and I didn't. No, you and I didn't. I can lament what some of our ancestors did. I can't feel guilty for it.
So that means you take... Hold on. So you're telling me with a straight face you don't take pride in Britain, in us defeating the Nazis in World War II? You've never taken pride in that?
I take pride in it. I admire the fact of what
How can you take pride in it? It's not us.
Well, no, of course. I can't claim the credit for having done that because I didn't. My parents did. I didn't.
We as British people take pride.
Only indirectly.
So why can't we take guilt indirectly?
In terms of guilt, because you cannot be guilty for something you didn't do. You can be responsible for the effects. You can't be guilty for it.
But you can take pride in something you didn't do. But you can take pride in something you didn't do.
Metaphorically. So I prefer to use the word admiration now.
Don't you understand that the people who do this thing, who practice racism, are bereft? There is something distorted about the psyche. It's a huge waste, and it's a corruption and a distortion. But when you take it away, I take your race away. And there you are, all strung out, and all you got is your little self. And what is that? What are you without racism? Are you any good? Are you still strong? You still smart? You still like yourself? I mean, these are the questions. It's, if you can only be tall because somebody's on their knees, then you have a serious problem. And my feeling is white people have a very, very serious problem. And they should start thinking about what they can do about it.
What do you say to that?
I said what I said.
Okay.
If Mr. Black and Mr. White live next door to each other, they have the same job, the same income, the same car, the same furniture.
Yeah.
They both walk out of the house in the morning. Good morning, Mr. Black. Good morning, Mr. White.
Yeah.
But Mr. White is still looking, but you've got something that I don't have.
You're saying he's saying that
He's
subconsciously.
saying, right.
Now, wait a minute. All right, we'll give you a chance in just a moment.
In reality, white skin is a genetic recessive status, not as said by Frances Welsing. Even though the white population says that people of color are minorities, you're genetically inferior because you are non-white. That it is the white population that is the minority, the minority on the planet.
That's the reality you're saying.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
That in spite of the fact that black people, non-white people have heard over and over again.
Meaning that if you and I were to have a baby, the baby would have color, and you make the contribution and I don't.
That white
So
plus
what,
colored, well, wait a minute. It's not Frances Welsing that is concerned about the disappearance of white. There have been multiple articles in the newspaper talking about the decline of Western populations.
Here, incidentally, this was the percentage of the West's population in 1900, the turn of this century, about 30%. This is where we'll be less than 10% in the year 2075. Here's where we are about today, 15. So we're not having babies.
So whites are not having babies, and there is the concern about white genetic annihilation. In other words, I look at, this is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday, and people will say, well, here's a man who talked about love. Yeah. Why was he killed? And I say that the deeper logic is, what if all black and white people and non-white people and white people love? What would happen to white people? White would disappear. You see, just mix all of the people on the planet up together.
In other words, if race didn't matter, or if color didn't matter, it follows with the jet plane.
No, I'm not saying if it didn't matter. I'm saying that indeed, if there was a mingling, if we mixed all of the people presently on the planet, stirred them up,
that the white freckle-faced people would be gone.
Genetic recessive status would disappear because we have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
Because you're the blackest.
Because we, right.
The most color.
Right. We have this ability to produce melanin pigment. We have more of it than anybody else. And so the most pressure is on black people.
A Donald Trump presidency, we will finally evict all of these illegal aliens that are coming here and stealing jobs from Americans. If you break into my house, should I just accept you because you washed my dishes and made my beds? I say no. I say you need to go back and come back in the right way.
So is that what the Indians should have told white Americans? The original illegal alien? Or European white folk in America?
Agreed.
And so should the Indians stand up today and say deport all white folks back to Europe?
Well, should we learn something from their mistake? Because we are here now.
Or should you learn something from their compassion to give other people an opportunity like was given to you and your ancestors? Learn from their compassion. That's what you should learn from.
I say learn from their mistakes.
Letting in the white man was the worst mistake that the Indians ever could have made. I agree with you. That was one of the greatest mistakes. Even right there in South Africa, they got a similar problem.
You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
What's the answer?
The liar knows what lie he told. You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still going to be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity.
And the other is by journalist, professor, and activist Dr. Mark Lamont Hill.
That's why these writers kept written by himself, written by herself, Phyllis Wheatley, Frederick, because they thought Negroes couldn't read and write. They thought Negroes didn't have the capacity to read and write, and yet they made all the laws to stop us from learning how to do what? Read and write. If we can't read and write, what you trying so hard to stop us for? And the answer is because America has always known what you are. America has always known who you are. America has understood what you're capable of, and they will make you think you ain't nothing at the same time that they exploit your gifts. They'll tell you you lazy and make you a slave. They'll tell you you dirty and have you clean their house. They'll tell you you uncivilized, and we raise their children. They know who you are. But it's time that you listen to who you are, that you understand who you are.
Bro, like we were talking about earlier, the projecting. White people didn't even consider us human, 3/5 human.
All right, y'all. You know, it was, again, it spoke for itself. I know some of the stuff some people may disagree with. But if you look at it, what Lamont Hill was saying, it's interesting. I was listening to something today because I wanted to really try to figure out why African Americans don't take the voting serious. And the brother said that James Baldwin was talking to Nikki Giovanni, the interview. Go check that out on YouTube, you'll like it. And what James Baldwin said was people gonna reflect what they grew up in, right? People gonna be what they grew up in. So if you take black children in an urban area that's not teaching them civic lessons about politics compared to white children in the suburban area of black children that goes in some suburban areas about voting and the importance of laws, then they're going to ignore that. If you don't teach black children the beautification of their culture, then they're going to think the ugly colorification, a word I just made up, of their culture is a true resemblance of their culture. If you don't teach black children about Fannie Lou Hamer, about R.J. Watkins, about Henry Tyler, about Coleman Young, about Maxine Waters, then they're not going to know anything. They're only going to know what they see. Period. Like Lamont Hill said, what? They tell you dirty, but they have you clean up the house. They tell you you're savage, but you entertain. You feel what I'm saying? Just think about this. Eliminate all black people out of America and what you got. I want you to really entertain that thought. And I'm not talking about the ones that migrated over here, volunteered to come over here, escaped over here. We talking about the ones whose ancestors was brought over here in the belly of a ship against their will. What do you have? We have an obligation as black people to educate our own children. Go to YouTube and put in Black History for Kids. Instead of letting them watch them shake them rump shakers, make them watch that on YouTube. We keep depending on somebody else to do what we can do for self. R.J. Watkins and Henry Tyler started their own radio station. They didn't sit and beg at the feet of somebody else and say, well, please, let me come on your station. No, they say, okay, well, we finna do it our way. And I'm not being paid. So I'm saying this because this is an example to follow. We have an obligation ourselves to take black children and educate the black people in general. We should have positive things on every one of our corners. An image of something that's productive and positive. To encourage them, to encourage black people to believe they can be better than what they've been told they are. That's a fact. Because if we don't wake up politically, they're going to create laws to destroy us. And you know what they're going to tell you? Oh, that's the law. You know Republicans do this. They won't follow the law, but they'll create one for you to follow. Let me say it again. They won't follow the law. They'll create a law for you to follow or cherry pick, just what racism does. It cherry picks the laws they like and enforce them on you, black people, or people who sympathize with the black cause. This is a fact. So let's get it, man. Let's do better than what we're doing. And particularly from a political aspect. All right, y'all, let's go to the next video. This is fire.
This morning, President Trump is calling on Republicans to nationalize elections as he continues to push baseless claims of voter fraud.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting.
Under the Constitution, the power to run elections is reserved for the states, not the federal government.
Once again, the president's talking no differently than a dictator who wants elections in America to be as legitimate as elections in countries like Venezuela.
The president claims the 2020 election was stolen from him, repeating without evidence that there was widespread voter fraud in Fulton County, Georgia. The FBI last week seized hundreds of boxes of records tied to the election from a Fulton County elections office. Critics have questioned why the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was there for the raid. Gabbard now telling Congress she was in Georgia at the president's request. Democrats argue she has no legal authority to participate in federal investigations. Gabbard is also addressing reports about a call between President Trump and the FBI agents who took part in the raid, saying she facilitated a brief phone call for the president to thank the agents personally for their work. He did not ask any questions, nor did he or I issue any directives. And Gabbard claims election security falls under her authority. Officials in Fulton County now plan to sue over the FBI raid.
So let me explain what's going on. so we'll clearly understand what's going on. Trump wants to nationalize the elections, which they can't do because each state, the Republicans used to have a concept. This is why they went to war against this so-called Civil War. The federal government said, we want to implement these laws. The South said that we want state control, meaning that we can do whatever we want to do with state. That used to be their concept when they were so-called the Democrats at that particular time. So when Trump wants to nationalize the elections, he wants to, that means that the government control the elections, right? Which was happening to black people before. Remember those who know history knows that our ancestors went to the polls. Some black people in the South was killed. This is a fact, particularly in Mississippi, when they went and the police wouldn't let them vote or they was intimidating them. So if the Republican, listen, let me tell you something. In the history of the United States, they have never sent the federal government in to go in and take all the votes from Fulton, Georgia, like they did last week. Trump is that upset. Now, the brother said, I was watching it on MS Now just today or 2 days ago, well, the brother who's dealing with the Fulton election, the black man, he said he got a call Monday, an anonymous source, and they told him that arrests are coming. Now, mind you, the votes have been counted. They said at least 6 or 7 times in Fulton, Georgia. Fulton, Georgia, for those who don't know what it is, that's when Trump made the phone call and asked for him to get 11,000 more votes before the votes were ratified. So we just need 11,000 more votes. Can you find those? The guy recorded them at first, But so now we're looking at corruption. Now, can y'all imagine, and I want y'all just to think about this. Can y'all imagine that if the Republicans stayed in there the next 20 years, what black people would deal with? Not only black people, let's go here, women and poor people. Trump, the Republican Party have poor whites, this Republican Party's in there now, have poor whites duped to believe that they really care about them, right? And it's really, and if you study their agenda, it's really not like that. But they believe that. So that's the game. They know they're going to lose. So the game is, let's cheat to win. That's what racism ain't nothing but a cheat code. That's all it is. We can't beat you, we going to cheat you. Let me say it again. If we can't beat you, we going to cheat you. So we're going to pass laws and tell you it's the law, now you got to follow it. And that's what it is. Supreme Court Justice said a long time ago, and I think his name was Hill, if I recall, in the 1860s, United States Supreme Court Justice said this: there is no law that a black man make or something like that a white man is bound to respect, or any law that's in the favor. So I want y'all to clearly understand that. So this election thing is getting serious now, because if they take that away from us and we don't have no laws to protect us, that's a problem. That's a problem. I know we don't believe all that. We think we good and let's still pat. No, it's real. And it's getting realer. But let me show this last video right quick. Let's get to it. This is fire, y'all. Last video.
President Trump, that the 1964 Civil Rights Act harmed white Americans is just wrong, and it's dangerous. It rewrites history in a way that fuels fear and resentment. My fathers and so many leaders of the movement, Fred Shuttlesworth, Diane Nash, John Lewis, I can call the roll, but I won't do it today, did not risk their lives to divide this nation. survive this nation. They did so because America was denying millions basic rights, the right to work, the right to vote, to live where they please, to move through society with dignity. The Civil Rights Act did not give black people special treatment. It made discrimination illegal. The same discrimination you're trying to turn around and use. It required the law to protect everyone equally. That is democracy.
She said it all, Bernice King. And Trump said that the Civil Rights Act, and I'm paraphrasing, it's a disadvantage to white people. But the Civil Rights Act was a necessity because it helped us, meaning black people that's in America, to get some type of protection against what we was dealing with as far as discrimination. Now I want y'all to think about this. What if we didn't have the Civil Rights Act from 1964, the Voters' Rights Act from 1964, the Immigration Act passed in 1965? Where would black people be at right now? Where would anybody that come in this country that's black, or would they be allowed in this country that's non-white right now? I mean, and it's something to really think about, man, because if we look at all the stuff that's going on, when you tell me that you want to resurrect a Confederate soldier or Confederate history because you feel like that history shouldn't have been destroyed, but you want to take black history down. In Philadelphia, they took the history down, and I showed the video Monday. They took the history down of George Washington, who was a slave owner. And they had the name of the 9 slaves that they had up there. Trump signed an executive order to tear that down. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that's disrespectful to the founding fathers. Well, what about the founding slaves who didn't want to find their way over here and who went through through the suffrage of what we went through? That's why I say the modern day, the black people who are alive today, we have an obligation to our ancestors to fight for reparations. And we can't abandon that, right? In Detroit, they got something going on with reparations right now. I don't know what's the latest, but we deserve that. I want y'all to really think about this, because it bothers me when people say, oh man, that reparations stuff is, okay, well, why don't you go work for a year free and see how that work out? Some of us don't even want to work past $15. So imagine if you had to work for free without no choice. They could beat you, they could shoot you, they could do whatever they wanted to do to you with no consequences. And you did not have a right to be protected. Wouldn't you want somebody to come after your death to say, okay, we have to get some form of justice, like our Jewish brothers and sisters did for the Holocaust victims, like our Native American brothers and sisters did for their ancestors, like the Japanese Americans did for their ancestors, and like us, we need to do that. If we would have got reparations a long time ago, meaning African Americans, we wouldn't be in this condition. We wouldn't be in this condition we're in. I had to tell a guy, well, I went and got my oil, right? And I wanted to say something about Common before I leave. There was a Bengali guy there. He said, yeah, we over here making. I said, but listen, there's a difference between me and you. He says to me, so he said to me, there's no difference. I said to him, it is a difference. I said, the difference between me and you, they haven't burnt your town down yet in Hamtramck. They burnt our towns down. I said, I just want you to imagine if they come here and burnt the whole town down, and each time you build a town, they come and burn it down again. How would you feel about that? He looked at me, he said, you're absolutely correct. I said, I know I'm correct. I said, so me and your status ain't the same, family. I didn't come like you and you didn't come like me. We came in at the bottom of a slave ship. And we was never respected over here. I know people hate when we talk about it. You know, our pain is the only one that's ignored, right? But everybody else got their pain. So I want to say something I was told by a good brother that called me and told me, Brother Sly, and I checked it out. Kamala Harris has opened her Twitter campaign back up for social media. So she may be running for president again. Now, she's in a battle with supposed Gavin Newsom from the governor of California, Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. But I'm saying this, I want Kamala Harris to win. She deserves it. She deserves it. As she got the education. She got the experience. Can you imagine? Let me say this. Can you imagine if Gavin Newsom was the vice president of the United States, or if Shapiro was the vice president of the United States, and they ran for president, you really think they wouldn't put him in office? They did it to Joe Biden. Why won't they put her in office? And please, I'm saying this to everybody now. Do not be a repeat and not vote for her. Because you would not be in the condition we in now. We would not be in that condition. But it's opened up today. I found out. All right, y'all. Mr. Tyler, give me the wrap-up sign. I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. It's always fire. Catch me Monday at 5 o'clock. God's will for politics and Politricks, you decide. And I'm still asking for people to donate to the show. And I have more of a clarity on how you can donate, because some people don't like to do mail-in. But I will let y'all know. And please, man, I enjoy sharing this knowledge with everyone. And I hope everyone enjoy the knowledge that I share. So, as I always say, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Catch me Monday at 5 o'clock. Politics and Politricks, you decide. Power to the people, power to the people, power to the people. Stay woke.